Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show with your host, Shikama. Now the Obama, the mainstream media are boasting that we have the lowest unemployment payouts since George Bush took office. Well, the thing is, they are not extending unemployment any longer. So all of those people who have been out of work for 4, 5, 6 years are just out of luck. And before people start, I want to explain something. A lot of people don't even understand what unemployment benefits really are. First of all, unemployment, quote unquote, insurance is paid by you, the peon. There is no such thing as minimum wage. Everybody pays into unemployment insurance. If you are fired or if you quit, you do not get to collect all of that money that you paid each and every paycheck. It comes to about 30% of your paycheck. So if you were to add it together, that's how much you should be getting paid. Oh, and I'm not even done. There's a whole bunch of taxes on the other side of the wall, of the table, of the accounting table, that you, the peon worker, never see. It's all paid by the employer. So when the employer hides you, the peon worker, he has to pay a whole bunch of other stuff that comes right out of paying you. So even the minimum wage worker should be getting like $15 an hour already right now. So theoretically, you are actually making $15 an hour. It's just that you don't get to see most of that because the federal government has its hand out to the employer for hiring you. So if you make $20,000 a year, you're actually being paid $35,000 a year. It's just that you don't get to see the rest of that, huh? 35,000, 40,000, you don't get to see that. And the government has finagled it so that if you work part-time, this is even before Obamacare and that loser legislation that they shoved on everybody and said, oh, this is about medicine. Before even that, the employer had incentives to not hire you full time. Because if you only work part-time, then the employer doesn't have to pay all that other gunk on the other side of the table. Well, not to the degree that he would if you were full-time. So what does this have to do with unemployment? Well, I propose that we go to the employer and to the government and say, look, both of you, stop it. If you want to hire me, I will be an independent contractor. I will pay my own unemployment insurance. Pay me $15 an hour. Pay me $20 an hour. For flipping burgers? Yes, for flipping burgers. I will take care of all of my own taxes. You don't have to pay not one red cent. That completely erases the government away from the employer. A lot of people say, greedy employer, greedy employer, greedy employer. No, the government has its hand in his back pocket for every person that he hires. It's greedy government, greedy government, greedy government. Now, if you could wipe away this unemployment insurance, wipe away all those taxes that the employer has to pay, you could then renegotiate your salary. So nobody would work on minimum wage. Nobody. And if there was no minimum wage, you actually could have people say, you know what? I will work for $5 an hour. And we could shut down the liberals who say, well, that would be unconscionable to pay somebody $5 an hour. You're a greedy bastard if you pay somebody $5 an hour. No, what you're doing is completely taking away somebody's freedom to negotiate a salary that they want. Zero, and that's zero all day long, zero. Versus $5 an hour. Do you think people would negotiate for that? Yes, they would. And if they could get the government out of the lives of the employers would be happy to do that. They'll be like, oh, I'll just sweep your floors and do your bathrooms all day long for $5 an hour. Yes, please do that for me. No skills, no brains, just a little bit of elbow grease, people would say yes. But because of minimum wage, they can't say yes to that. And people can't get any work. Why can't they? Oh, he's a carpenter of 10 years because he can't afford all the mess that comes with hiring an employee. And because the liberals don't want people to be able to have the freedom to negotiate a salary. That would be inhumane. Anyway, this is what happened when you take away people's freedom. So my proposal is get rid of unemployment insurance altogether and only have unemployment insurance on a personal level where you actually pay unemployment insurance so that when you are out of work, you get paid. Yes? That's whether you're fired, whether you quit. Yes, that's how insurance should work. If this happens, then you get paid. And what is this? When you stop receiving a salary. Oh, they're making a mockery of you, taking your money for years. Every week, every 2 weeks, once a month, every paycheck, taking money from you. And if you get fired for cause, you don't receive not a red cent. You could have been working there for 15 years. Think of all the money that you put into the quote unquote account, and you don't get to see not one red cent. And then Congress acts like it's doing something by extending unemployment benefits for another year. You paid into that. There are people who have been working for 20 years and can't get unemployment for more than a year. And the average unemployment payout is $22,000 a year. How much do you think a person who's been making $40,000 a year for 20 years has accumulated or paid into the unemployment insurance? Probably $500,000. Probably $500,000. Did you hear me? Try and calculate that. $40,000. So that's going to come out to about $15,000 each and every year for 20 years plus interest. Compounded, free and clear. Yes, they take your money free and clear and then don't want to pay you because the employer has found some reason to fire you. And you know, people get fired left and right. When the employer doesn't want to pay you anymore and can't afford you, oh, he'll do all sorts of things. I don't know, black people know what I'm talking about. When they want to get rid of a black person, oh, they'll do all sorts of things. And don't give me this, oh, you're being racist. I'm sorry to tell you this, but black people have it the hardest in the United States. Last hired, first fired. And I don't want to hear this that all black people are lazy, they don't do a good job at work. That's a bald-faced lie. That's a bald-faced lie. That's like saying all black people are criminals. That's right up there. The Nazi Germany outlook on life. When the employer wants to get rid of you, he will find a reason not to pay you unemployment insurance. It looks good on his spreadsheet. He can't afford you, but he's going to try and fire you any which way possible. And he's going to try and cover his tracks. I want him fired today, but what I'm going to do is write him up for the next 3 months. Then I will fire him and not pay a red cent. If we took that away, that legislation away, then we could really negotiate a real salary. We wouldn't even have this stupid debate about minimum wage because we'd take that away, completely take that away. Get government out from the transaction, the private transaction of you and your employer. It's unconstitutional to begin with. It's the whole reason the court system even exists. Private transactions and enforcing it. You can't then get in between it as the government and saying, this is how I want things to be run between you and your employer. Unconstitutional on its face. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.